Hello, 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 and welcome to Bub's Comics. Today we're going to do Comics Lunch Live, and basically that's just where I spend a few minutes. We're not going to stay on here very long at all, but we'll spend a few minutes to clean a comic book today. That's what we've got on deck. So just spend a little lunchtime with old Bubsy here, and we're going to clean a Golden Age comic book, and so that's what we've got going on. So we'll see you after the intro. Okay, so what we're going to do today is look at this Rangers Comics number 33. And you can see it's in an old bag. This is exactly how it came. It was an eBay win from not too terribly long ago. What happened was, well, actually, it is a long time ago. So as I think about it, I think that I picked this book up with a Christmas bonus that I received. I want to say Christmas 2021. So now I know that seems like forever ago, right? But Christmas 2022 was just a month ago. So what happened? So I guess I've had this book for over a year and I've not done anything with it. Not at all. Never took it out of the bag. This is how it came from eBay. Now, from this far away, it looks pretty good. And I swear that's where the picture was taken. So I picked up two books that day. I got my Christmas bonus. It wasn't very much. And this is the old job I was working for. And it wasn't very much, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to spend it on some comics. So I bought two Golden Age comics that day. This is one of them. From here, it doesn't look too bad. But as you get up closer, you see there's a lot of writing on there. Someone filled in the Ranger portion there. So when I got it in the mail, I was like, oh, man, I didn't notice that. And then I thought, well, I'll take a look at I'll look back at the listing. And when I did, it was clear enough to see, and it was low grade, and it was a buy it now price. So you know how that is. So I jumped on it, clicked, yeah, buy me now right away. So cool little Fiction House comics. You got a girl in them there bikini. You got a shark cover. You got breathing apparatus, which I love. I realized one of the reasons that I enjoy Golden Age sci-fi so much is all the different breathing tanks and things that they have when they're in space. So underwater, not that different. So pretty cool there. It says Fire Hair, Sky Rangers, Crusoe Island, and Tiger Man. So some cool stuff going on here. So that's what we're going to do today. We're gonna take a look at this, and we probably won't get into too much repair, but this is kind of like when I first get a book in, this is the evaluation that I do. I look at see what can be done. I'll do a few cleanups and a few small fixes, and then it may get tabled for a bigger project. It does have a dolphin vibe. It may take on a bigger project later. We'll look at the chat real quick, but that's not really what this is about. So Better Args here early. I actually set the time wrong, so thank you for correcting that. Jambo's here for some lunch as well. Varangi and Vigilante says it's easier to repair a Golden Age book than to find a good modern story. Well, I'll let you all be the judge of that. Las Cruces 1971 is here as well, and Naman is here, a comic bookworm. So thank you all for joining us. We're gonna get into the looky loos of this here in just a minute. So thank you for that. So all right, let's take a look at this book. We'll switch camera feeds so you don't have to look at me anymore. I'm sure you'll appreciate that. All right, so here we are looking at this Rangers. Hey Perry, what's going on? Looking at this Rangers comics here, and we'll do a little backity around music for you all, since I think some of you enjoy that. So that's about where we'll keep it. All right, so let's take a look. We got Rangers comics number 33. Let's crack it open for the first time. We're going to get rid of that tape. We don't even want that tape anywhere near us. Just get rid of it. So that's how we do that. Just if you need another piece of tape later, you can always add one. So, all right. Are you dining on Golden Age for lunch? Yes, I am, Nike Jam. This old wrinkled up old bag. What do we do with wrinkled up old bags? We get those out of there. that can go by way of the same tape. We'll put it in a nice Mylar when we're done with this, or at least an OPP. You say, what do you do while you're doing this stuff? Well, we drink coffee. We drink coffee because it's not too bad. If you make a mess, it won't stain the book. So drink water or coffee, and you can get coffee stains out of books pretty easy. And of course, it's a beaver. So there you go. That's good stuff. Coffee for lunch. All right. All right. People don't know what to get for lunch. I suggest a nice Golden Age book. So let's take a look at this. We're going to hold on to the original backing board here for just a minute. Man, is it rough. It's a lot rougher than I thought it was. It's got dust on it. Ugh. All right. Look at that. Color on it's fantastic. That's what drew me to it. But unfortunately, speaking of drawing, it looks like there. Yep. I don't know how well. See those? So if you get the sheen just right, you can see that someone went over the lines of the girl with a pencil. They actually did a pretty good job, but it also looks pretty deep. So that being the case, I don't know. We can clean some of that, and if I was doing a more professional type cleaning, we could get more of that out. But you can see here that pencil lining actually cut through the book. So when you see it, this is what I do. So I look at the back, and when I see it that much, there's that much of it that's come through, then by the time I remove that, it's probably going to be, I'm going to take a lot of color with it. So I may do a couple of test spots and see how close I can get, but we might leave some of that pencil outline for today. This book is published by none other than Fiction House Comics, one of my favorite, probably my favorite, definitely my favorite Golden Age comic publisher. And this is number 33, published in February of 1947. So we're going to take a look at this. Fire hair, that's pretty cool. We'll look at it. Actually, it looks to be on staples, but it looks like the cover is completely detached. So the book is still in one piece and on staples, but the cover is totally off. Looks pretty good, actually. Sky Rangers. All right, so I'm trying to get to the centerfold because this has one gnarly spine roll. And so it's a good time to check the staples to see they're not rusted. That's good. Actually, this looks pretty good. It's going to need a spine adjustment, but who doesn't? And it also looks to be complete. So now I can do a more thorough completeness check at another date, but that's not really going to change my mind as to whether I'm going to keep it or not. I mean, it's a keeper. Look at that. There's some great artwork there. And that's some fantastic Good Girl art. Did I give it the sniff test? No. I've not given it the sniff test yet. So there you go. So good stuff there. Ooh, that would look like a nice little legs panel. So let's see if we can go back on that and take a look. Look at that. Looking good. Look at that. That is cool. Got her inside of the dentist office and got her inside of teeth. So that's really cool. Oh, doctor. All right. So now that we know that it's completely detached, cover completely detached, let's remove that a little bit and see what we're working with. Oh, that's good news. So this is what I like to see. There's portions of the cover, even though it's destroyed, they're still there. So it looks like all the parts of the cover are still there. It's just kind of tucked over, turned around. There's even a portion of the back cover that's flipped back over. So that bodes well. We like to see that. So maybe, oh man, is this thing just ripped all to shreds all over? Doesn't look like it's ever received any proper amount of love in its life. So that looks like a tear through. Oh, it looks like there's a little bit of the cover. It's so interesting. There's a lot damaged on here, but there's also a lot that is still present. So I'm just interested in, I'm going to take a little look here. So right here, you see this major portion here that's been ripped and looks like there's color loss and everything else. But if you flip it back over itself, the spot gets smaller. And then if you notice when you turn it in over here, there's even more of it still there. So let's go ahead. We'll remove this old board. We'll move this over. And let's just take a look and see if we can get some of that back. So let's see. A lot of it's still gone, but there's a good portion right there that we can flip back over. And we see one side. All right, so we're just trying to create some pressure there so that then I can flip it. And let's see what we did. Oh yeah, we got a little bit of the corner back on that Ranger right there. So now we've got a little more color flip back over from there to there. So not a perfect, but let's see what else. We've got some corners here. I mean, there's lots of this book that we can tape back together. And also there's some cleaning that needs to be done. Now, usually since I don't do any taping on the top of the cover, I'll just do taping from inside or underneath. So I'll probably go ahead and start that process a little bit. We've got some tape right here, document repair tape. We've got our handy dandy scissors. And so before I actually work on some of that pencil, I'll probably go ahead and fortify it with some tape. That way I don't damage the book while I'm working on it, because it's very easy to do that and to tear up extra of the book as you're rubbing and stuff on the book. So let's turn it around. This side doesn't look too bad. Looks like that top edge is pretty bad and the spine. So we'll work on both of those things. Looks like that there. We can get some of that flipped back over. Look at that. Oh, it's all there. Beauty, eh? All right. So that'll be nice. And then this looks like it's there, and the spine is actually mostly there. So we'll be able to flip that back over. There's a lot of the spine there. Oh my gosh. I think it's near complete. All the parts we need. So, woohoo! We're digging that. All right. In case you didn't know, it's still a beaver. Bucky the Beaver. All right, let's take a look. Let's just get into it. Now, there'll be people who do comic repair that's going to be like, oh my gosh, this guy, he's a butcher. He's doing too much. He's doing too little. Everybody's got their own opinion of how much is too much and how much is too little. That's why when you're doing, if you're ever doing any repair work yourself, that's why I suggest you learn how to do it. Learn how to do it for yourself, because people will differ and disagree as to what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. And if it's your book, you get to decide. And the smaller, lighter repairs, I mean, this is not a key book. This is not a particularly expensive book. You know, so the repair that I'm doing today is for me. It's what I want done to the book. Nothing more, nothing less. And I'm going to err on the side of extra repair versus less repair, because I want to see how clean I can get the book looking. So that's always the fun part. So let's see. Oh, and I made a cardinal mistake. Oh, it's been a minute since I did these. I forgot to set my tape up to where it would always be reset, which is a trick. So you have to bear with me. Okay. So the trick is with these tapes is that once you get them started, they're hard to get back, uh, unflipped. So so the key is to peel away, to not take the whole thing, but to peel away as you go, and then only actually cut the tape. And that way, you always have this to grab hold of, to where you can use it. This one I need about that much. And again, we're going for overkill on this because I'm trying to strengthen that spot up. So, and what's nice about this tape is that it will basically disappear after a pressing. And we're keeping an eye on the time too. We're not going to run this too long. So let's see what that turned out to do for us. And you can see that that is good and fortified. It's not going anywhere. It looks pretty solid, literally. All right. Look at all this. There's a ton of stuff on here that can be reattached and refixed. If you're looking for better comic repair videos than this, that's fine. Go on. Who needs you? No, really though, there are channels that are more dedicated to comic repair than mine. Mine is more of a amateur repair for people who are just looking to breathe a little life into their current collection. If you're looking to do this for a living, first of all, you better get good insurance, and don't send your book to anyone who doesn't have insurance. That's my other tip. I've heard some horror stories of people getting books back that are worse than they sent them, or not exactly what they wanted, like the person didn't listen to what they were asking for. And then when they get them back, I'm like, well, did you submit a claim? If they damaged your book that badly and really did more harm than good, then you should be able to get your money back on that, or at least the value of the book. Now, you don't usually get to keep the book also, but if you believe that the book's been damaged so much that you don't want it, then you can submit a claim for that. And people were like, oh, I don't even know if he has insurance. I messaged him. He didn't message me back. It's like, come on, people. If you're a real company, then you should have insurance. Otherwise, you're just sending it to another hobbyist. And if you're going to do that, well, then you take your chances, right? So don't be complaining when they tear your book up. And I recommend, if the only amount of money that you want to spend is money to send to other hobbyists to work on your book, work on it yourself. And make sure it's done the way you want it done. And if you don't think you have the skills, learn the skills. All right, let's see. So this is the tricky part here, because you're trying to get multiple flaps, if you will, to line up. So I usually start from the outer edge and work my way in. Most important part is the cover itself. So I work my way to the spine from the cover. And small pieces are sometimes easier to work with than large. So like there's a particularly stubborn piece I've already moved twice and it's flipped back over. Looking good, folks. We might need to recharge by sipping on this beaver mug in a minute. Well, stay tuned for that. I know that's exciting for you. All right. Coffee and comics. So that's what we're doing today. I think there used to be a show like that. I don't think anyone actually worked on comics during that show, but all right. This is the back cover, so we're kind of transitioning a little bit. I usually don't do that, but because this particular piece is so egregious and fussy, we're going to go ahead and continue on. Reminds me of my wedding night. What's that? Patching up stuff or sipping off the beaver cup? Which is it, Gray Man? You got to tell us. We need details, brother. Where's the music? It's probably the music. All right. Okay. So let's see how that did so far. I mean, the only thing missing is where the staple holes were. We are quite pleased with that. A little bit of color missing here and there. All right, we are pleased with that. Let's continue. Look at this. Man, is that destroyed. Just as point of reference, how it looks before and how it's about to look. So I want to make sure that I get the right side. Okay, so it's correct. So the torn piece goes on the outside. So it's laying perfectly. Now for this one, I'm going to work from the back cover to the spine because I need to structurally secure these pieces while they're still attached and make sure that we don't do any further damage or lose any bits. So I'm going to start with this bottom one, which is literally hanging on by a thin thread. Hey. And then we're going to work to this top one. Hey. And that was important because now we got that back cover solid again. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Woohoo! All right. Looks like there might be a piece on that front cover that's flipped over. Let's take a look. Yep. Looks pretty good right there. We're going to go ahead and put a small piece across there and then continue to work our way down the spine, much like Gray Man on his wedding night, apparently. Okay. Y'all let me know when it's time for some more beaver juice. I'm pretty close. All right. Now we got some funky parts here. Look at this, folks. It's like double spread, wide open. What do you think, Gray Man? All right. Ooh, that is tough. It doesn't look tight, but it is. That is actually a trifold. Oh, all right. That's where the staple was. So there's a chance that there's usually right where the staple is where there's the most missing. Sometimes if you get stuck, you can apply a little spit. That's a pro tip. I tell you more, but I just want to give you the tip. All right, so that's not laying naturally. So either I have to apply a weight or something. So instead of continuing on that path, I'm going to work from the bottom up. That way there's less pressure on it as I move up, and then that'll lay more flat as I go. Right. That thing is curly. It's short, but it's curly. All right. I think we got that short and curly taken care of. All right. We're ready to focus on the big hole here. Everybody wish me luck. This is the scary part. So many different moving parts. We don't want to make sure that we don't want to smash the hole because that'll cause premature wrinkling. All right. All right, folks. Was there any other parts on the main cover? A little bit of fraying there. We'll leave that for now. Looks like there's a big tear up here. Yep. All right. Again, we want to make sure we have the correct colored side matched over, and it is. Again, I'm using way more than I need to because I want to fortify it. I want it to be nice and strong. And this stuff is really strong. This tape, I mean, it's all right. Let's work on this down corner here, this folded over corner. And we're just going to apply a little bit there to help keep it from folding over in the future. So it's just a reinforcement. CGC, CBCS, they would call this copious amounts of tape. And that's what we're applying, and we're doing it on purpose. All right, folks. What do you think? How did we do? That, that looks pretty solid, folks. So we have a great question here. How long is the archival tape good for? Well, I assume you mean the longevity of the actual tape itself, like how long is it does it before it yellows? So archival tape, what yellows in tape is a component called cellulose. So the cellulose in tape is what yellows over time. Archival tape doesn't have any cellulose. It's I think it's like a rice uh, paper combination. So this is what's used like to repair documents in for archiving. So when you think of archiving, the main purpose of that is to keep it from ever getting worse, right? So over time, it should, keep its integrity. So this archival tape does that. It keeps its integrity over time. It does not yellow, and makes it look good. So Like not used for historical documents. Yeah, on times they'll use kind of a true rice paper. This has an adhesive, and often they'll use rice paper. Doesn't have an adhesive. It's just layering in. It's just based off moisture and to get the fibers to stick together. So there you go. So still a heck of a spine roll on that sucker, but we have done a lot to improve its health. We're very happy with that. Let's take a look back at our book here. See, I just want to see the staples match up pretty good. There was no rust on the interior of the book, but there's a little bit of staple rust on the exterior. Definitely some oxidation. All right. So now that we have it, refortified, we shouldn't encounter too much tearing or ripping now as we clean. So let's take a look at what we can do to some of that there. That's going to be really tough. It's on a dark color, so if you do very much with it, it's going to probably remove some color. And I know some people don't care about that, actually. You see some people really washing books, wet cleaning. A lot of times they'll sacrifice some color, but I happen to really like color more than, I don't like the book to look faded. And a lot of times when people do that, they fade the color. And you get all the stuff you don't want off, but then you lose some of the color. And I really do like the color. It's what appeals to me. Yes, I have a press. So eventually this will get pressed, but we're probably not going to do that today. So I'm starting with this star here because it's a good test spot. There's white all around it. That should just be a 10 inside of the star. And as you can see, someone's drawn all over that. So we're going to I have a blunt end and a sharp end. So I'm going to take my sharp end and just work it a little bit. Very small strokes will get it off easier. Remember that, folks. So small strokes with just the tip. So I'm just applying the very tip and stroking it easy. And that should get it off fastest. Always good to blow on it, get a little excess off. Just don't spit on it. You don't want to spit on it in this phase because if you do, you might get it wet. And you don't want to do that because that'll indel some stains. You just want to be careful. Very calmly rub it. Now, I've had people complain about using gloves. They're like, oh, Bub doesn't use gloves. And people who know nothing about cleaning books will often say, I'm not sending my book to anyone who doesn't use gloves. And I'm like, you can debate about it all you want, but realistically, when handling paper products, often people do not use gloves because you lose sensitivity in your fingers and you want to be real careful. So you can see kind of the results of that cleaning there. Got rid of those pencil lines straight away. So we're pretty happy with that. And again, are you picking up this book? It's from 1947. Are you staring at it that hard? Or are you just looking at it from a cursory glance? I think for the most part, it's just going to be at a glance. So what I'm going to do is use my rounder broadside. And I'm going to rub it gently all around on the Ranger and see if I can get some of that pencil just to move away a little bit. All right. Yeah, a glove deadens your feel a little bit. So you want to be able to touch it and feel it. I can see. So I check it's a white eraser. So I'm checking to see if any color's coming off. There's no color coming off. So this is pretty deep too. I'm getting a little bit of color and a little bit of, so probably we're going to leave those lines for now until actually sometimes I'll press a book that has that. So this is so deep in there. They used a pencil and just carved the book. So if I erase it, I'm probably just going to get white and then I'll get white around it. But if I press it first, it will bring some of that to the surface and I can get it. Like you can feel it's so carved in, you can feel it with your fingers. So Probably, unfortunately, going to be leaving that for now. Like I said, it can be done, but it's not going to be done today. In that, now I can get off where it says in the comics, I can work on that. You can see where it's written in there. So let's work on that a little bit, and then we'll probably call this done. It's not as deep there either, because you couldn't see that on the reverse side. And yellow, if I lose a little bit of yellow, it won't be as dramatic as losing that orange. I mean, that orange is really standing out. Just rubbing it just a little. There you go. So you can see just by applying the tip, we got that C cleaned out real good just by applying the tip. That same method won't work here. I'll have to press it first and then go over it because it's just too deep over here. But that C was nice and shallow. Small strokes with just the tip will get it off best. I have some other tools that I would use if I'm doing straight lines. I have some guides. You can get them at any artist store, even some craft stores will carry them. But eraser guides are good. I like these. These are artist erasers as well, but they're not the soft ones. They're more hard. I think I get a little bit more feel with the hard ones. If you get a soft one, they work too, but they run out faster because they kind of more of the eraser gets lost every time you swipe it. So I prefer a nice hard one. And in some cases, soft works too. Somebody really dug in that M, gave it a good hard one. Golly. They really didn't want this to ever be removed. I hope y'all are enjoying this as much as I am. If you are, give a like, subscribe if you're not subscribed, all that good stuff everybody pushes for. We're not trying to make any money off this channel, but we do want to help as many people as we can. Spread joy and passion for this hobby. I am technically monetized, but I have all my monetization currently is set off. So other than super chats, we don't really collect anything. There's no memberships or pay per play or pay for friend or any of that stuff going on. Not throwing shade at anybody that does that. This is just an expression for me. I don't really have a job otherwise. There's some disagreement in the chat there. Some people saying soft works as well, and in certain situations, soft works. But yeah, generally you want a good hard one. Otherwise, you may not get it. It'll take longer too. If you use a soft one, it doesn't get as much off, so it'll take longer. It's just more difficult to finish the job. So like this one. Look at how deep that one is. It's deep in the S. You see it? Try and catch it with the light, but it's very deep. They really grooved it. So I'm going to probably switch to my sharper one. And I'm going to stick the tip in really hard in the S and see if I can get it off. Hope you guys are enjoying this lunchtime comics live here on Bub's Comics. We're here to inform, we're here to educate, and we're here to see if we can get this hard one in the S to come off. All right. All right, there you go. Okay. Well, that is what we're doing for the day. We will just open it up and do an amateur press. And when I say amateur, I mean this is going to scare some people. So we just do that. This is what I call a faux press. And I swear, when you send your book to some people, this is all they do. But there you go. You got that. We're going to line them up ever so gently. This is not for the faint of heart or for the brittle. Now, it looks like that. Oh, that's solid. Aren't you working? It's 10 a.m. Not where I live, brother. It is much, much later in the day for me. Looks like that might have been trimmed also. Or it could just be a bad wrap. It really should be like that. So again, this is not for the faint of heart or recommended proper policy. But this book is not exactly a super expensive book or anything like that. And I'm just trying to get it to where it will fit in a bag and board properly and look good. So this is, again, a very amateur way of pressing. Do not do this at home. If you want to see good pressing, I have other videos on that. But I will do this. So this is what I do just to put it back in the bag and make sure. Look, $5 super chat. You people. Yeah, I got plenty of time to get back to work. I still got 17 minutes before I got to be back on the old clock. So again, this is not proper technique. This is just what I do. I have this little ruler here. It's got a good hump. So you just rock that hump real good and get it good and pressed. And all I'm doing is trying to recondition the fiber a little bit to take this form I'm giving it. And then when I do a proper press, then I'll do it in sections. I'll open the book up, press it all flat, create the new crease, and then go from there. But this alone will improve the look of the book, especially in the bag and board. And when you go to bag it up, it'll look just amazingly better. All right. That felt good. I hope it was good for you all as well. All right, let's get this. Bag and board ready to go. Pull the bag and board almost all the way out. You kind of pull it almost all the way out, not all the way, but most of the way out. And that should do it. Raise that flap. Get it good and tight. Slide. Always hold the flap up because these Mylars and such. And we're dealing with OPP today. Yeah, you know me. And we'll get another board in there to kind of complete the illusion. When you're sticking the other one in, I always prefer to stick it in the rear. So make sure that you don't damage the face of it, but you kind of wedge it in there. Like I always do it the second one's in the rear. The first one is to the front, but the second one I stick it in the rear. That way they don't get wrinkled. You can keep it a nice stiff. You want it to be as stiff as possible. And then here's some wall safe tape. That's what I use. I know people like painter's tape, but I find this even less damaging than painter's tape. Put that at a slight angle in case I need to open it again, because we will be pressing this and we're going to work some more on that. So there you go, folks. Rangers Comics. Got that spine nice and clean. Looking much, much, much better. Amateur press. And we'll do more on that in another video, I suppose. So, all right. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed lunch. This is what we did today. I think it looks pretty good. I'm pleased with it. Rangers Comics, just a great cover. I just love it. So well worth a little bit of money from a Christmas bonus a year ago. And now we've made it look just a little better. So, all right. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that. And we'll catch you next time on, where are we? Oh, we're in Bub's Comics. So we'll catch you next time. Enjoy and good night.